Hey guys, what's up, everyone? Hola. This is your host, Stephanie Sweet, and you are now tuned into the GrownupIsh Podcast. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to another week of the GrownupIsh Podcast. What's up, GrownupIsh crew? So touching bases on the week. I hope you guys have had an amazing week. It was Thanksgiving last Thursday, so I hope y'all ate, stayed safe and just hung out with close family. Hopefully none of y'all did anything you weren't supposed to be doing, like being out and about with a big crowd, because there were a lot of things going on in Orlando. For those of you who may be elsewhere, I remember seeing just a couple of events coming up on my feed, but I didn't attend anything. I stayed my behind home, okay, with the fam, and we had a little small, just my little five people here. Um, and we got to hang out, and it was dope. It was dope. And we got to give thanks a little bit. I mean, I don't really celebrate, but I kind of celebrate Thanksgiving. I celebrate in the sense that like we cook and we get together, but we don't do too much. Yeah, my family and I, we don't go like super crazy or anything like that. Anyways, that was my Thanksgiving. It was pretty straightforward, y'all. Wasn't nothing popping or anything like that. And yeah, so we're back at it. Um, when this airs, it will be the 1st of December. Okay, so it'll be Tuesday the 1st. Oh my gosh, the year has ended, and what a lengthy, long ass year we had, right? A roller coaster for sure. This will go down in the books as a year of a lot of just a lot went down. So this week I wanted to talk about reflection. Okay, we're going to be talking about reflection and um overthinking and self-evaluation, because yes, the end of the year, and that tends to happen. We tend to think about what has happened throughout the year, where we are, and where are we going, where do we want to be, and just going through the motions of just assessing the situation. So that's what we're going to be talking about this week. All right. But yeah, so last episode I had Katerina. So thanks to her again for coming on the previous episode, which the title was mental upkeep, right? My mental upkeep. And in that conversation that I had with her, uh the topic of overthinking came about, right? And I totally can resonate. Basically, she was saying that I asked her the question, "What is the biggest question that she gets, as far as from people who are reaching out to her and seeking advice on something? What are they mostly seeking advice on?" And she mentioned that it was the fact that people overthink a lot. It's a lot, they're around the overthinking topic, right? And I can totally like see how that can definitely be, because overthinking is something that I struggled with, or even still do at times. I think all of us kind of go through moments of like going back and forth. You want to make a decision and you're just like, okay, what do I do? But it can get deeper than that, right? Because overthinking, to me, at least in my life, it's not just only decision based, but it's mostly around decision, but it's also, thinking about an event that happened and having to reflect on that and thinking about how it went, and that conversation, and I said this and the person said that, and I should have said this, and the whole you're replaying the whole thing in your mind, in your head, and over and over and over, and you overthink this stuff, and that can take a toll. It can take a huge toll. So circling back a bit to, since we're going to be talking about self-evaluation, and the end of the year is coming up, and where are we, what are we doing, I definitely can see how the overthinking factor can come into play. So let's let's get into it, right? In terms of how I came about, like the topic for me, you know as the year comes to an end, that's what I tend to do. I tend to review myself and kind of like assess where I'm at. I think about like what it is that has happened throughout the year, the chain of events, like be it with work, with family, with friends, whatever, and the goals that I have. What am I looking forward to? What am I trying to accomplish and achieve? And then kind of set up a little bit of a plan for the coming year, right? So being that it's the first, at least when this drops, it's definitely something that I'll be thinking about. And honestly, I've already been thinking about this. I've been reflecting on the year quite a bit, quite a bit, and just thinking about like all that has happened. So for me, I mean, I don't like to share too much about my life on here, my personal life. I don't get deep with it, but uh, for the purpose of transparency and just kind of, getting to you guys getting to know who Stephanie Sweet is, and my life, and also just kind of being honest, I'll 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 divulge and share a bit more. But and it's not stuff you guys don't even know, actually. It's not like I'm holding back all these secrets or anything. My life is like bland, okay, y'all. Like COVID done shut it all down. Now, if COVID was not happening, I might have had some stories for y'all, but it's been real late, okay? Because all I do, honestly, is like, if I'm not doing stuff for the podcast, and hanging around with my family or whatever, and trying to think of my next scheme on how I'm gonna take over the world like Pinky of the Brain, uh literally that's all I do. I'm at home. If I'm at home, it's just literally I'm at home. I'm trying to make sure that I keep safe, and I'm not out here in the streets too much. I ain't gonna lie, I do go out sometimes, and have a dinner here or there, or lunch with the hubby, but um we mostly like try to stay away from stuff. We don't go to many events, or if we do, it's outside. It's outside, and we're like sitting outside, and it's an outside event or something, and we're walking, and we'll do the parks and stuff. So yeah, I'm thinking about the year. So what has happened this year? um Well, the beginning of the year was going pretty well for me. Okay. Things were moving well. Like, I just felt like this was gonna be such a good year. I had all these like visions of, greatness that I was going to accomplish and achieve, work wise, personally, in my personal life. And it was just like it was gonna be grand. Like 2020 was supposed to be lit. Um and it started off that way. It started off really well. Like, I was in a good space. At work, I was in a good space in my personal life. I remember like when we first started hearing about like COVID, and it was just like, oh, it's this thing. And I really didn't even take it seriously. I honestly was just like, oh, it's gonna be like that Zika thing, it's gonna be, a thing, and then it's gonna go away. Not that people weren't super affected, but just honestly speaking, here it wasn't to this magnitude where we had to shut down, if we're being realistic, like if we're being honest, right? And this is not to downplay any other event at all. But yeah, like I legit was just like, just waving it off like it ain't nothing. But then when it got serious, it's like, to me, it affected me quite quickly. Thankfully, I haven't had anyone get sick in my family, in my close circle at all. Like, or if they have, they haven't said nothing. But we're blessed over here. Thank God. I pray it. We've been good. I'm so grateful for that. I'm so thankful, and this is not to downplay anybody else's experience with COVID, but um yeah, like, but with in terms of work, we had to close down, and like start working from home right away, and we worked from home for a little bit, and like my team and I, because we didn't I work in hospitality. So because we weren't like face to face with people all the time, it wasn't like I had to go there and, be around a ton of people. So we kind of stayed working in the office and just were separated for quite some time. And then eventually we worked from home and for a while. And then after that, it was like everyone was kind of furloughed and kind of like it was a standstill. And during that time is when the GrownupIsh podcast became a thing. So each year I do this thing where I write, I make goals for myself, right? I'll set some goals for myself. I'll set like some personal goals and some work goals. Yes, I self-evaluate legitly, like they do at work. You know how at work you sit down with your manager and you're like, all right, what have you done this year? What do you think, how you think you performed this year? And they go down and have a conversation with you, and sometimes it goes really well and you're like, yeah, I killed it this year. I did my thing this year. I did the damn thing. And then sometimes they're like, you need to step your game up. That's like legit what I do for myself. I really do that. I go through and I self-evaluate like I'm a employee, right? And I'm also the boss of myself. And I just ponder on, all right, what did you do well? What did you not do well? What could you do to improve? So on and so forth, right? Yeah, so that's my little thing that I do, guys. Don't judge me. So I had a list this year and I had like a whole thing of like what I was gonna do, and like my goals. And I'm not gonna talk about what was all in there, but I had some really good goals. I had some good goals for myself. Some of them were basic stuff like, just be healthy, eat healthy, um, hang out with my core friends, and like have one-on-one time where I felt like I was on social media a lot. So reduce like the social media interactions and just spend true quality time. But more than anything, I wanted to spend a lot of time with myself. Like I wanted to get to know Stefany more and just like find out like what are my hobbies? What are my new hobbies? Are there any new hobbies that I'm like into? Um is there anything that I would like to get into that I haven't even thought about? Like just having that thought process of like thinking about what makes me happy and what I like and what I need to explore. I legit did that. And I started to, so with my friend B, which you guys have heard her come on the show a couple of times. We started this thing where we would like go out every I think it was like every month. We set a time where we would like link up and have like, it was like a girls date, and we would do something, you know and explore something completely different that we've never done before. So be it like check out a new restaurant, or a bar or something that we've never been to before, or go to like the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. We actually went there. I had never been. I think she had, but I had never been. And so we got to do that for the first time. I was reading more. Like I wanted to start reading more. That actually is a goal that I didn't quite achieve, the reading more, but we gonna get there, see, self-reflection and evaluation. That's how you get better. You get to see what you did and what you didn't do. But that was fun. Like the getting together with my friends and trying something different. I had to do something new each month, which that's fun because you're trying something fresh that you've never done before, and it allows you to kind of try to figure out. It tied in with me trying to figure out what it is that I like or don't like, and are there new hobbies that I maybe want to get into or not, whatever. And you're not going to know that unless you try some shit out. So that's what we were doing. um what else? What other goals? I did have starting the GrownupIsh podcast. Well, I didn't know what it was going to be, but I put on there, starting a goal. I put it as my goal, excuse me, to start a podcast. And here we are. So I did that one. Yeah. So I had with work I had just continuing to push my team and certain aspects of the business that I wanted to tap into, and I was on track for that. But obviously, because we were sent home, that stopped. And so I found myself with a lot of time on my hands. And that's, like I said, how the GrownupIsh crew began and the GrownupIsh podcast began. And, here we are. And it's been quite interesting. I got to speak to people that I had never would have necessarily spoken to had I not started the podcast. I got to see a side of myself that I had never seen before. Even doing this, where like now I'm pushing myself, trying to do more solo episodes than um, having guests, which I love having guests because I prefer to have conversations. But I also think that it's important for me to just find my own voice and kind of explore this aspect of the podcast as well. And yeah, I got engaged, I got married during COVID. Yeah, we're crazy. I had a niece. I have a niece, not had. I have a niece, which is amazing. She's so cute. I spent time with her this Sunday, and I love her so much. Like, I love her. That's my boo. That's my boo thing. My little honey bear. Um that yeah, she's she's amazing, guys. She's like amazing, and she's so sweet. She can't talk, she can't do anything, but like I don't know how little humans like that just like grab your heart. It's crazy how they just grab your heart. And she's not even like she's mine. She's mine. She's mine. But she's not mine. But I feel like she's if I feel this way about my niece, I can just only imagine how I'm gonna feel about my own child. Lord Jesus. I get it, mamas. I really get it. I get it. I can see how, you can feel some type of way about your kids and can nobody tell you nothing about you. I can totally see that. hmm That's a fact. But like, yeah, in terms of my goals, I feel like I hit a lot of marks on there, but that's my process of self-reflection and well, that's what I kind of like think about. I go through the entire year, I see what has transpired and what has happened. I haven't had any like craziness happen to me, so there's not like much for me to um there isn't anything actually for me to feel bad about. Like I'm so grateful and thankful about where I am. And there what is crazy is that we're all going through this whole COVID thing together. It's affected so many people in different ways and different levels, and it's serious, right? But one thing that kind of um brings a little bit of comfort, I guess, in a way, is the fact that this is not happening just to Stefany. It's happening to everyone, like literally everyone. In one way, shape, or form, you are affected about you're being affected by COVID-19 and around the world, not just here in the US, but around the world. And it's incredible to to think like how what a difference a year makes, right? I was having this conversation with my best friend, KT. Shout outs to her. And we were just talking about how like last year, you're one place, you're doing one thing, and the next year it's like a complete 180. Things have changed drastically. Things have changed so much. Um and you can control you could sit there and like think that this is another thing that COVID has taught me. Um, Lessons, right? These lessons. Um, you could sit there and say, I'm doing everything that I want to do, or I'm doing everything that I should be doing. I'm being a responsible adult. I'm, checking all the boxes. I'm being a good citizen. I'm like, taking care of business. I'm meeting all the marks that I've set for myself, or whatever the society has, whatever it is, right? You could be doing what you need to be doing, however you feel like you need to be doing those things, right? And think, yeah, you're good, you're straight. And like, even still, life will still like throw you for a loop and come in, ain't that something? Like how they say you can plan all you want, but God like laughs at your plans, because ultimately he is gonna be the writer of your life. Okay, he writes the story, and you can sit here and plan it out, but at the end of the day, he has to say so, and things can change from one minute to the next. One point that I do have to make for sure, though, is for people not to get caught up in like the it's easy to like go down the rabbit hole of feeling bad and feeling anxious about it, and and get down on yourself. And I'm not gonna lie, like as I've started to reflect the past months and the past couple of weeks, um it's hard for me to feel like, dang, I was on a really good track, and life was really good. Like I was good, I was okay. um but we have to get excited about what's to come. Part of fear is part of like the how fear kind of plays on you, and it's so captivating and crippling because of the unknown. It's so much because of the unknown. And I think because we don't know what's on the other side of the coin, or what's on the other side of this hill that we need to get over, it's so scary for some people. Like just the thought of like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. But instead of thinking as like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen, and it's going to be bad. Well, you don't know what's going to happen, and it could also be great. It could be amazing. This can be the opportunity you had been looking for to make a change, right? To make a drastic change in your life for the better, for the positive. Like, this is where that overthinking comes into play. This is where you start to overthink, and you start getting like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen. I planned this, but now this is happening, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And, I'm stressed out. Like people, you can go into the rabbit hole of just worrying, right? And getting stressed out. And that's never helpful. Um, I try to change my mindset. I try to think about, and it's not easy. I know I'm saying this, believe me, y'all. I know. I know. And even when I change my mindset, I still sometimes go back to, oh God, but I don't know. Oh Lord, what if there's more? Like that's natural. That's a natural way of thinking, and that's just a natural way of processing things. But try to like pull yourself back into um a positive mindset and a positive outlook on life, because changing your mindset is where things start to happen, and where things start to happen in a positive way. um just taking the time to flick that switch and then just say, all right, I don't know, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about things that I can't change, because you can't change what has happened. You can't change certain things that are outside of your control. So, one thing that my brother said to me once, and it always stuck, is like, we got to focus on the things that we can control. I don't know if he said it or if I heard it somewhere else and then I say it to him. Anyways, it's something that stuck with me. Whoever said it to me, if it's him or somebody else, I don't know if I read it somewhere. But we do need to focus on the things that we need to control. And then from there, you know, take action, right? Coming from a place of positivity, and coming from a place of, all right, I'm going to focus on the things that I can control. Then it gives you power back. It gives you the ability to say, okay, there's something that I can do, right? Again, going back to the fear is like the fact that you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how you're going to fix it. You don't know if you can fix it. You don't know when it's going to happen, not just the how. Um, all of these unknowns that can cause fear and contemplation, and like the overthinking and overanalyzing and over reflecting. But when you grab the power back from fear is when you say, I'm going to focus on the things that I can control. I'm going to take action, right? Then you can see what actions you can take, and then from there you're doing, okay, what else can I do? What else can I do to fix this? Well, how else can I capitalize on this opportunity? Like looking at it from an opportunity standpoint, as opposed to this being a detriment to your life. That's really how I've been able to uh, get past and get over this whole quarantine time, COVID situation, where I was, furloughed for months. And now it's December, and I'm not going to go back to this company. So things that I've learned for myself is that, finding the gifts in these moments has definitely helped. Checking up on my friends, making sure that they're good, being able to, I've literally like taken this as like almost like forced vacation, honestly. Again, I'm so grateful to God. Like, I'm so thankful that I've been I've been blessed in the way that I've been blessed. Like, I really like I'm blessed. I'm like so grateful. I'm so thankful, cuz I know that there are people in um a worse of a situation than I am in, and I'm like good. Like, I've been traveling, or I traveled in the beginning, not now, cuz stuff is like mm-mm. But we take, my husband and I, we would take staycations. We would, or little mini road trips, and we would explore uh Florida a little bit, and or go out of town, and go out of state and stuff. We would just try new things, you know what I mean? Like, just go and live your life. That has definitely helped, right? That has definitely helped, um kind of keeping me in good spirits, and also just not thinking of things in a negative way. It keeps me from overthinking things, and reflecting on them too much, and getting me to a point where I might start to panic or whatever. So having a good support system around you, and being a support system to people around you, is definitely helpful. So if you have found yourself in a situation where, like, there's a lot of question marks in your life, and a lot of unknowns, then remember that you're not alone in this. the whole world is with you on this, in this journey, and in this moment, and we're just all experiencing the same thing in different ways and on different levels. And just like lean on your tribe, right? Lean on the people that are around you, so that so that one, you can be a support system to them in a way that, in the best way that you can, and hopefully they can be the same for you, and talk you out of, you know overthinking. So just to kind of bring it all together, guys, yeah. So, I take some time in the next month, maybe, to like think about things, think about where you were and where you are and where you want to go. And then think about things like what you can do to make that happen, as far as where you want to go. What changes can you start implementing now that will help you get to that place you want to get to? And this is the chance for amazingness, like, to happen. Like, this is a time for rebirth. This is a time for new beginnings. This is a time for you to go ahead and start that business, sis or brother. Okay, guys, get out there, do something different. Think outside the box. We have nothing but time and opportunity. Nothing but time and opportunity. Some of us, not all of us. um and we have to capitalize on this moment, because this hopefully won't ever happen again. And you don't want to look back on this time that maybe you've had and think, oh, I was like so busy worrying, or I should have, I could have, I didn't. And it's lost time that you can't get back, right? So, and I'm saying this and I'm saying it to myself too, right? Every day I think of, like, I sit and I think, okay, what can I do to make this better? I literally have been, that's been my prayer. That's been my prayer, and my what I've been meditating on, to kind of like, you know, clarity and direction and vision. Um like I said, this is a moment of like rebirth and birth of new things. I And that's why it's so exciting. Like, I try to look at it from that standpoint, and it makes it more exciting for me, in terms of what the future holds, right? What the future potentially could be, and it can be great as long as I'm willing to make it great. And that's the part that, we can control, guys. That's the part that we play, and have, and can tap into, and make the difference, right? Just got to push. I had a conversation earlier today, or I saw a post. I'm not going to mention who it is, but it was somebody on IG, and dope lady. I would just see her post once in a while, and I would like them. And she wrote a message, and I guess she was feeling down and whatnot. And um she made a post about saying something along the lines of, she's been feeling down. She's just been feeling down, and she's gonna like take a step back. And if you see that she's not very responsive or engaging, just, don't take it personal. Just know she's taking some time off. So I don't know, something about the post, and I'm paraphrasing, right? So something about the post like just resonated with me, and I was like, it resonated with me because I completely understand, and because I had been feeling like that myself as well, you know, because it happens. That's life. So it just felt good to, maybe say something to her. So I reached out to her. I DM'd her and just say, hey, just said some words, just, sending light, love and light her way. And She responded. I didn't expect her to respond, honestly, because it's not somebody that I really, how you have like those people that you just like, that you follow, they follow you, and you like their stuff, they like your stuff, but you really don't ever talk. That was the situation. Like, I never said not one word to this lady, um, to this young woman, and she's never said anything to me. Okay, so it's not like we know each other, or that's the home girl. It's nothing like that. So I didn't really expect her. I just kind of expected her to say, oh, thanks, and maybe that, and then move along. So didn't really expect too much, but her response was very touching, and she expressed her thanks, and it made me feel good to say, wow, I'm glad I reached out in the way that I did. And you never know who you're going to affect, right? You never know. I felt like, okay, I should say something a little bit more, just to kind of like, boost morals, because again, I was feeling the exact same way. And the fact that my little message, impacted her, and it reached her, and it did give her a little bit of love and light, that made me feel good. That made me feel real good. And that goes to show, it doesn't hurt to just be kind to people, to extend some grace to someone around you, because you never know what it is that they may be going through. And even if you do know a little bit of what they're going through, you don't know to what extent. So, and again, I still don't know to what extent, but it was nice that she said, hey, it meant something for her to have me reach out in that way. And it also made me feel like, oh, that was good. I'm glad I did. Because sometimes you get an inkling to send a message, or you get an inkling to reach out to somebody, and you don't, right? And you kind of like brush it off, and it's just like you move on. um but sometimes, those are the moments when we really do need to reach out and say something, because the universe may be pushing you towards that. God may be pushing you towards that. And it happened too yesterday. I reached out to someone close to me, and they were going through something personal, and I didn't know. I hadn't known. I wouldn't have known. And we had a long conversation, and it turned out that it was a scary moment, but we found out, it's not a scary moment. It's Everything is cool, but I wouldn't have known that. So when when you get that little inkling, guys, in your spirit, to like reach out to somebody, just reach out to them, because don't overthink it. Just go and make that move, and just say a quick, like, hey, I'm thinking about you. Because we've been through some things this whole year, and just in life in general, people go through stuff, regardless of COVID. Outside of COVID, there are people that are unaffected by COVID, and are still going through a mess, complete devastation. So don't forget to reach out to your friends and your family, and just check up on them, and see how they might be. That's gonna be the classy, ratchet, or real, I guess, for the evening, and I'll call that very real and very classy. Yeah, my online story. I'll call that definitely real and classy. Um, but yeah, this episode, guys, is not gonna be too long. Like, it's not gonna be the usual hour. Um, but I feel like I touched on the things that I wanted to touch on, which is, start thinking about the year, reflect on it, see, what areas of opportunity you can find, self evaluate, like you're your own boss, and you're the team member. And go through, like, what have you done that's good, what are some areas that you can improve on, and what goals are you setting for yourself for 2021. Start thinking now, because now is the time, right? The year will end super quick, and next thing you know, like, oh my gosh, we're here. And so this way you can kind of like hit the ground running, right? You can kind of start planning, start um figuring out how you're going to make things happen. And it also kind of allows us, honestly, to look at things in a different way. So before, we had no idea that, COVID would impact us in this way, right? And it looks like it's going to continue into 2021. Hopefully it doesn't. Like, I'm praying that it doesn't. But this is a bit of this is the new norm, right? There are some things that are not going to go back to how they are. As much as we want to go back to how life was, the reality is there are some changes that have happened this year that we will continue to see moving forward. And that life that we used to have, like, before, there are aspects of it that are never going to come back, or maybe it will take some time, maybe it'll take some time to come back. So moving forward, what does your life, like your best life, look like? Think about that. What can you do to make your quality of life with the current restrictions that we have? What can you do so that you have the best quality of life right now, right? And in the beginning of the year coming on, as we're still dealing with the current restrictions that have been implemented on us, and possibly, what if it tightens up a little bit more? What can you do? What things can you do to try to, like, make life just enjoyable and easy? And if that means, yeah, like the stuff that we've all kind of learned, like taking trips, just, local trips, or, exploring the outdoors more, okay? And doing a lot more of those activities, and spending time with people, but in a smarter way, finding out new and innovative and COVID friendly ways of doing things. Like, think about that, because we don't have to live in fear. We don't have to be so scared. We just have to be smart about it. You can still do things outside, just do it safely, right? And if you feel like, no, it's too risky, then don't do it. If you're second guessing it, then don't bother to do it. And let's not overthink things. Let's not uh let's not over analyze. It's okay to reflect, it's okay to think about them, and that's fine. But let's not OD to the point where it becomes crippling, due to fear or whatever else. And just allow for the things to that happen to stay in the past. Because if we constantly are looking back, this exercise, mind you, I'm saying self-evaluate, self-reflect, think about what's happened. But I don't want us to stay there. The whole purpose of this is to see where we were, where we are, where we want to go, right? Where we were, did we like it? Some of us liked it, some of us didn't like it. Maybe we've made improvements, which is awesome. So we can continue to make those improvements, or continue to keep up with those improvements, rather. And if you were somewhere where you liked it and you don't like where you are now, what can you do to improve on your quality of life moving forward? Maybe you're not going to get to where you were before, but perhaps you can do certain things that will just help you live a better life today, right now, given the certain circumstances. That's the ultimate goal, right? The ultimate goal. Not for you to think and then dwell and, like, I wish I would have, I wish I could have, and I don't do that to yourself. That is awful, okay? You're wasting time, and you are traumatizing yourself all over again, and inflicting that pain on yourself all over again. Like, remember, those are things that you cannot change. So we need to focus on the things that we can control. And so if we think about the things that we can control, and take back that power, then we can do and take action. So that's my advice. Okay. That's my advice to you all. And um we're going to call this conversation very, very grown-up-ish. So far we haven't had any childish moments. Um, so just if you have questions about this or you had suggestions, please DM me. Let me know your thoughts on the topic and let me know like what you do when you self-reflect. I would be very intrigued to find out. And remember last episode I said we're doing a giveaway. And so when this episode drops, we're going to be I have to tell you guys the keyword, right? So the keyword for the giveaway, guys, the keyword, can you guess what it is? Can you guess? Can you guess? Okay. The keyword, okay, for this particular week is going to be reflection. Okay? Reflection. Now, not all keywords will be in the title, so you got to continue to listen. Okay. So this week's keyword is reflection. So go ahead and DM me the word, and then your name will be entered into the drawing. Okay, so you gotta listen to all 4 episodes in the month of December, and each episode will have a keyword. And each time you hear the keyword, you just DM me, and your name will be entered into the drawing. And then at the end of the 4th episode, well, the day after the 4th episode airs, I'm going to do a drawing and I'll let you guys know who the winner is. And the winner will receive the water canister. Those who can see me on YouTube will see this, but those who are listening, go to the IG page, the GrownupIsh Podcast on IG, and you'll see a picture of this. I also just did a live earlier today, actually, talking about the giveaway. So there's a hat and there's also a mask. There's a mask because we got to keep it safe out here in these streets. All right. So, yeah. As always, you guys, please share the podcast with your friends, your family, your neighbors, everyone under the sun. Okay. You know where to find me, the GrownupIsh Podcast on IG, the GrownupIsh on Twitter. The GrownupIsh Pod is a website. And yeah, I am really grateful for this platform. I'm grateful for all of you that follow me and have supported the podcast all along. So I really appreciate it. It means the world to me that you guys even rock out with my crazy self. There are some changes that are coming, and I'm not ready to release those just yet. But I'll be putting that out very soon. So stay tuned. Okay, stay tuned and keep an eye out on IG because that's usually where I'm at. I also now have a Facebook page, which is the GrownupIsh Podcast on Facebook. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, like I said, just keep an eye out, guys, and we'll do this again next week. All right, and I'll see y'all. All right, bye.